Heidi, hi, and welcome to the Dash News podcast. This is episode 96. I'm Mark Mason, and I'm joined by my two fellow hosts, Joel Valenzuela. How are you?
Pumped.
Excellent. And Talker being super pumped. He's ready. He's energized. He's caffeinated. He's super pumped for this. Brian, how's it going?
Good.
Excellent. Just what I wanted to hear. Fantastic. Or should I say dash-tastic? That was just for you, Pastor. So this week, we have some very special guests from Dash Embassy, Thailand. And this is the first time they've been on the podcast. So welcome to the podcast, Felix and Sascha. How's it going?
Hi, guys. And
good.
And Savadi Cup.
Savadi Cup. Kun Savadi Mai.
Mark.
You impressed us the last time already with your tie.
D-Mac. Okay, excellent. So
Very good, middle of the night, ready to go. Very honored to be with you guys.
Yeah, this is so those that are watching that aren't familiar with time zones, it's like 2 a.m. in Thailand right now. So props to the Dash Embassy people from Thailand that are coming on. This is great. And I think this is really a great opportunity for the community to learn a bit more about your project. You're very active on social media. You've been doing a lot of business development, lots of integrations. But let's take it back. Let's start from the very beginning. And let's start talking about who you are. Which one of you is Felix? Which one's Sascha? And what do you do?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I start. Yeah. So I'm the Sascha of us two. Yeah. So a little bit about maybe my background. I'm having more like a business consultancy background. I was like back in Germany. I was accredited from a big German bank, and I was consulting startups. That's my background. And I moved around 7 years ago to Bangkok. And I started consultancy here, and here I was more focused a little bit on tourism, on the hospitality sector, which is now a big part in our Dash strategy because we focus mainly on tourism. And yeah, so we started the Dash Embassy, or being involved with Dash like maybe 7 or 8 months ago. And yeah, then after a while, like 6 months ago, we decided to put our first proposal on the blockchain, and yeah, now we are here.
Excellent. And Felix?
I'm Felix. Pleasure to be here again. I'm an old dog actually in the blockchain world. I kind of like fall into the rabbit hole in 2013, 14. Also coming from the business consulting background, working a lot with German banks, digitization, always like being the middle part between tech and business people, making both sides understand each other. And I was blogging like as a hobby, more or less for a tech blog, and we heard this thing about Bitcoin called Bitcoin, and see the price was going up, and I was talking to my editor-in-chief and said like, well, what is this? How do I get this, right? And that's how we decided to write a book about it, and like how do you buy Bitcoin? How do you explain people to use that stuff? What it's all about? And since then, I'm sucked into the rabbit hole, like probably all of you.
Excellent. So how did you guys meet? Like, did you know each other before, or did you just start on your mission of Dash and you just form like Voltrons? Like, let's assemble the dream team. Avengers assemble.
I think I drove Sascha a little bit. I pulled him in this rabbit hole together with me. So I started a blockchain academy back in Germany, where we really helped like banks understand the business case of blockchain, how to plan, how to use this technology, what's the business value, the business proposition or value propositions of blockchain, and from there always going to implementation projects. So Sascha and me know each other from Bangkok because I used to live here 10 years ago and then went back to Germany. I moved here back now more than 1 year ago, and yeah, we wanted to do something in blockchain, and it turned out very well. So we started off and ended up with Dash. We were in Germany, good connected to the Dash Embassy guys. So props to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they really helped us to understand like what Dash is and why it's really worth looking deeper into it. Right? And to break it down, also, it's like for us the really big part about Dash is the funding model, where essentially the money doesn't go only to the miners, right? And you really put some money to do business development. And coming from this business background, it's like highly important for us that technology is nice, but if you have beautiful technology, it doesn't matter, right? So you always have to focus on the business side as well, so in order to get project on the street and to make something happen.
Hey, you guys have been really involved with the merchant adoption part. What's the current count there now? Do you know?
It's 70-ish right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's, I mean, we never, like from the beginning, you know, like our idea was not going for sure, like mass adoption on one side for sure, yeah, but we wanted to keep like a healthy ecosystem, how we like to say. So, because we had from the beginning, I mean, one experience I have to tell. So, like at the beginning when we start onboarded merchants, we thought, okay, there's a Bitcoin map. Let's go to all the restaurants which accepts Bitcoin. But our experience was, okay, they are listed on a map, but when we go there, like, they don't accept Bitcoin. The staff even don't know what is Bitcoin. And this experience we took and we said, okay, so it's a chicken and egg problem. So it doesn't help to have like thousands of merchants if no one go there. The staff fluctuation in Thailand is very high. That means if there's, let's say, no transaction in 1 month, you can actually kick it out from the list. So it's not existing anymore because there's another staff, they don't know how to use it. Because, I mean, for us, it's easy to use, but for the normal people, like on the level of like a normal service staff in Thailand, it's not. So that's why we said, okay, let's onboard merchants, let's create a use case, a nice experience in places where we know people would go, interesting places, and keep bringing transactions there. So our function sometimes is also a little bit as consultants of the merchants, as a little bit as a marketing agency of the merchants. We had, for example, just yesterday or Thursday evening, more or less 2 days ago in Thailand time, we had an event on a rooftop bar. And, you know, like we created with them also a little bit of marketing strategy, and they gave 10% discount to people when they pay with Dash. So, because then they can reach a new clientele which go there and spend money. And yeah, it works for us pretty well. So our numbers in total of merchants are not impressive, but we have transactions there. So, and we have happy merchants, and the dropout rate is very low. Like sometimes there's always a reason, maybe why to drop out, can be personal reason of the merchant or whatever. So, but yeah.
Yeah, y'all are very prolific with updates and stuff. I like that. Some proposal owners, not so much. Hey, what are the other, I'd say, the next biggest 2 cryptos that are used there?
That's the thing, right? Crypto is not used.
Yeah.
That's essentially the point. So there was no Dash before we started getting Dash into Thailand and really growing the ecosystem. And in Thailand, even many people say, "Oh, Dash coin. What is that, right?" So,
of course.
I mean, there's no trading. There's a lot of people interested in trading, but in terms of like really, we always say from high level to street level, and there's nothing else. So there's Dash, and then there's Dash where you can really go out and get a coffee, right? So
that's a good question to kind of kickstart this, because correct me if I'm wrong, but when you first started, it came across that you guys were doing conferences and meetups first before you moved over to merchant adoption, right? Exactly. So I'm guessing from what you just said, when you started doing these meetups and conferences, there was just no other exposure for other cryptocurrencies. So it was like ground zero, essentially.
No. I mean, there's, I mean, like what towards payment. I mean, like there's a developer community for Ethereum, for example. Yeah, that's. I mean, trading and the developer community was here already, but like not in the way we promoted Dash. That was pretty new. So and also like we had very good feedback from the other communities for what we're doing here.
I mean, we're really talking about real life use cases, right? The crypto community here in Thailand is beautiful. It's a very friendly country, also in terms of regulation. There's many people working here. I mean, it's a beautiful country for digital nomads. So there's a nice battleground for us, right? But in terms of like, can you really do anything with any of those coins? No, you cannot. So now you can do something with Dash. And what we just said, referring to your question, we realized that the meetups are nice, but and it's good and it's important to involve the community. And it was very, very important for us to like kickstart this and grow essentially the Dash community, making people aware that we are here. But now we're at the point where we really have many merchants, and then we come back to the point where we just said, like, the merchants are happy if they see we bring them customers, we bring them business. So that's why we said, like, why not combine these, and rather than doing a PowerPoint presentation for a group of people, let's do it at the merchant, right? We have the running gag here saying it's like different people, same people eating different pizza when you go to meetups. And so why don't we really let them eat also different pizza?
Yeah, would y'all say the majority of the merchants are food type stuff?
Yeah, we are very much. We are very much focused on hospitality and tourism. So we have some online businesses, like one merchant we are actually very proud of to onboard it is mobiletopup.com, like kind of bit refill, which is also like beyond Thailand. I mean, they're in 145 countries and I think more than 200 mobile providers, and also things like vouchers, like similar to Bitrefill. So I think in the States, Bitrefill is a bit bigger, I believe. Mobile top-up is pretty big here in Asia and in many other countries. But yeah, so beside that, like we've been very much focused on local businesses, food-related businesses, some clothes shops, and we always looked at it that the visibility is good as well, and that everyone can use it, not only the locals here, also like when tourists coming in. I mean, Bangkok is, I think, the most traveled city in the world, like 2018, and as Felix said before, there's also a lot of crypto people here, like digital nomads working in Chiang Mai. It's like they call it a little bit like the Silicon Valley of Thailand up there, and yeah, in Bangkok obviously as well, and a lot of crypto tourism. Yeah, actually a lot of we figured out after a while that a lot of Dash people living in Thailand as well, people who are long time in the community. I mean, Mark was living here as well. He told us last time.
Yeah. So what point of sale solution are you using, or are you mixing it up using? So when you're onboarding merchants, do you offer them a selection, or do you just have like a go-to point of sale solution that you push?
I mean, we don't want to push any merchant in any system. So we tell them what options do they have. And I mean, we had a couple of days ago published AnyPay statistics. So like a lot of our merchants using AnyPay, we like AnyPay a lot. So because it gives us the statistics, so we also can see on the map, okay, which merchant don't have so much transactions. So we can also like go to them, talk to them and say, hey, what about a Dash discount action so that more people coming for this period? So
yeah, plus the email is like an awesome support. So we're very close talking to the guys. Props out to AnyPay. We love you guys. You do a great job.
And I've been looking at the statistics. It looks like by far the #2 source of transactions on AnyPay is from Thailand rather than denominated in USD. So I think it's up to what, 73 this month so far. So 73 purchases, and you guys said it's probably not even half of all the merchant transactions locally, right?
I mean, it's hard to say, like,
of course.
Because we don't know what the merchant uses. So as we said, like we go there, so we give them different options. And even we figured out if they choose AnyPay, sometimes if the owner of the business is in the shop, he just uses his wallet.
Any reason for that, do you know?
Tax reasons? Straight in the pocket.
No, we've never do that. No, like our merchants wouldn't never do that.
Okay, your secret's safe with me.
Can we cut that out?
Yeah, cut.
Exactly. But it's important to have the mix, and it's important to give them options, right? We also realize it's for many merchants they don't know anything about cryptocurrency when we go out there. And when we even mention the word cryptocurrency, you see in their face, it's like, something cheesy. I read something bad about Bitcoin, right? So this is why now we always really want to listen to the merchants and want to listen to their questions. And by doing that, adopting our sales pitch, right? So what we do now many times is really going out and say, you know what, we sell a payment solution, and we offer this payment solution in a way that you don't even have to care about crypto, right? So for example, we can connect the AnyPay system directly to the exchange, which instant or like after a couple of minutes at least converts that back into Thai baht. So we can give them the choice to have Thai baht on their bank account when people pay with Dash. And we go there and say, the value proposition is when you do that, you have a free other payment system. It's essentially 0 fee. And what we also do, we help you to bring customers in your shop. right? And we list you on global maps. We show the tourists that you are there. We show the local community that you're there. We even invite them to our Telegram channels, to our Facebook groups, and invite them to do promotions with their food. So we just said yesterday there's a German restaurant importing German asparagus to Thailand, and he like pushed out, you get 40% on our asparagus this weekend because it's election weekend here in Thailand, right? So it's like we really invite them to drive their business. That's the essential point.
Hey, what part of the y'all looked at the Bitcoin map and kind of went down that list? How accurate was that? Is it 50% or even
0?
It was
Zero, yeah.
It was nothing more than a dusty sticker on the door.
Wow.
Really 0%, and not even a sticker sometimes. Like, I mean, when you said, "Oh, you accept Bitcoin," or "We saw you accept Bitcoin," you said, "Bit what?" Like, I mean, they really like zero knowledge. But I mean, I believe actually, like, what happened, the owner of the business invested maybe in Bitcoin or crypto early stage, was super motivated, maybe especially 2017 or whatever. I can just assume. So we couldn't even speak with the owner. So and he was installing it and put it on the map, super excited, but then no one ever came. I mean, it's unfortunate like that also, you know, like we have a lot of hodlers. Like sometimes, you know, like when the price go up, people have a reason to not spend it because they think it goes even higher. And when it's low, they don't want to spend it sometimes as well because they think, oh, the price have to go higher first. So yeah. I mean, so that's why we also like being very interactive in our approach with the community and you know, like, you know, show them a little bit how fun it is, you know, like to be part of the community and spend it as well, like the experience. And I mean, that was what makes me always happy on our meetups and events when we install people also new wallets and they have their first crypto transaction. Yeah, we had like last Thursday also a guy who came down to Bangkok from the countryside, and he has Dash for 3 years, and he did his first transaction on our meetup. So the first time he spent Dash, and I had a couple of weeks ago, like one member from Dash community, I think he is with Dash since 2014. He's living in Thailand, and he did now a couple of weeks ago his first transaction with Dash, even if he has Dash for 4 years. So yeah, and that changes a lot, like yeah, that experience.
And let's come back to the point what Sascha said is actually important, right? It's the owner who maybe decides to do Bitcoin and so on, right? But the big thing with Dash is that we have teams going out and really talk to people, explain how it works, and give options. And we have so many options in the network where we can give different choices.
Are you going out and eating lunch and dinner at these locations that you've onboarded?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I had the German asparagus just yesterday.
Nice.
he love it. He love it.
It's like there's so many good food on Dash now. It's like my Dash T-shirt is getting a little tight here.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Expenses are in Dash shirts. Yeah.
Man, I can't. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the 10% discount is also really good. You know, that's one of our value propositions. Hopefully, we get that back with the bit refill as well, because that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you know, there's many systems in Thailand. There's an app called Eatigo, for example, which like has so many restaurants where people put discounts to fill their seats when on bad days, on Mondays, on Tuesdays, something like that, right? We tell them, why don't you do it in Dash? And you get the crypto community. You really can talk to a new group of customers, which you couldn't do before.
I mean, we had that discussion with Bitrefill internally and about, you know, like supporting their discounts. And I mean, Bitrefill is a different business. Yeah, like I guess I'm not into that business so much, but I believe like the margins are not so high. Yeah. So maybe there we have to support somehow once in a while. But in hospitality, the lucky thing is like the margins are pretty high. Yeah. So, and actually like the merchants are used to give discounts. Happy hours, we all know that. Yeah. So there's no need also like that we take money from the treasury to support that merchants with their discounts. They do it out of their own pocket. So, and
so it's not always about discount. So it's like a two-way, full-rounded positive feedback loop, because you get offering a discount to consumers, but also the merchants. especially, you know, they're not just saving money in payment processor fees, but if they're using a solution like AnyPay, they're getting Dash back as well, not just for the consumer, but the merchant as well for every transaction. So each group is incentivized to use Dash. My question is that are you explaining like the Dash back process of AnyPay to these merchants as part of your pitch to onboard merchants?
Yeah, of course. We have different angles. I mean, one is to say, no, there's a dash back. The other one is to say, you know what, there's a different payment solution with way higher fees. If you deliver food with like one of these food delivery apps, they charge you 30%. And
wow,
I mean, you know, that's an easy sell then if you have them, because everybody understands that, and everybody's like, it's really painful for every restaurant to give 30%.
Yeah, and Thailand's normally quite a cash-heavy society. You know, they like to do their transactions in cash, right? But then keeping in mind, I lived in Thailand like nearly close to 10 years ago. So you know, times may have changed. I know the taxi system has, right? So in terms of people using apps and stuff, where before it was like, yo, taxi. So like now things are changing. But is it still very, very cash-heavy, cash-centric?
You know, I was working in the banking industry in Germany, and I can say that's very similar to the US. It's like very card-focused, very cash-focused, and in Germany, it's like a horrible experience to pay. Here, if you go to the store, normally you see like 20 stickers on the door, because everybody now has a QR code solution, and that's actually for us really a kickstart as well to have an easy sales pitch, because the merchants know already what it is, right? So again, we don't talk much about cryptocurrency. We say, no, it's a payment solution here. We give you a QR code, and what we enable you to do is customers come and can pay cryptocurrency, and if you want, Thai baht comes out. If you want, Dash comes out.
You know what I would really love? Being as I lived in Bangkok for 2.5 years, it seems like at some point every day someone's either using the MRT or the BTS SkyTrain. If you guys could work out a way that you could buy a season ticket or your daily ticket paying with Dash, that's everyday payments, you would be onto a winner. Of course, the taxis is another avenue, but that being in a city with millions of people, you'd be onto a jackpot.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Just skip the feasibility study and go right into it.
Oh god! Oh no!
We are on it. We are on it.
Excellent.
We can't reveal that much at this point, but I hope we can tell you next podcast. I hope we can tell that story.
Yeah, because it's an interesting system, because things may have changed themselves there, but I lived in Saladang for the most part. And on the SkyTrain there, obviously they had the machines at that stage where you could put cash in to get a ticket, but they still had like counters at every station where they would have someone there with the till where you could pay in cash as well to get your ticket for like tourists and stuff as well, asking questions. Has it all gone machine based now, or have they still got people working at the tills and issuing tickets?
Still, yeah, it's a mix. It's a quite horrible user experience, to be honest. Like, because at the BTS, for example. Sorry, at the BTS, for example, they only accept coins, so you cannot even pay with bills. So sometimes you have to queue to change your bills into coins to be able to go back to the machine
and queue again
to get your ticket. So yeah, and what Felix said, I mean, we're getting there. So maybe also back to your question you had before, like that we started with meetups. I mean, we had from the beginning a plan, and you have to go step by step. I mean, in the first 3 months, so we've been very much focused on education. Yeah. So because people didn't know what is Dash, so we had to focus on that. Then next step was setting up like that healthy ecosystem we talked before about. Yeah. So the next step was like getting partnerships in place, like Winston Pay, for example, which like we posted just recently, like, and revealed like our MOU we signed with them, etc. So, and with that tools, then we can go now out and go the next step. Yeah. So I mean, the big players, the big companies, you cannot come and say, yeah, here's a wallet, so you can accept it. So I mean, they need an ecosystem, and they need like an instant transfer to fiat because they have to pay their staff, and etc. etc. I mean, so that's why we have to build up to get to that point, to get like that big players. And we are totally aware, and we are absolutely motivated to get there. And I'm pretty sure, like, we will get there.
I mean, for the big players now, it's a beautiful showcase that we have, right? Because before it's like just what is that cryptocurrency, or what can you even do with it? Now we can go out and say, you know what, here, look, there's our merchant system. let's have our business meeting at one of these stores and have a dinner, and we talk how we can do a partnership. So that's a beautiful use case, and that's essentially what really you need. You need to bring like many pieces in place, because payment is a complex thing, and you have to bring all these pieces in place in order to approach bigger players. And I feel now we're very happy that we did that in the last months, and now are in a situation where suddenly these people talk to us, and we are really like, can provide them solutions.
What about accessibility though? Because that's the really big part of this. How easy is it for the people of Thailand to actually get access to Dash? Is there many exchanges? Because that's the big piece of the puzzle. If they can't access Dash and get hold of it, how are they meant to spend it at the merchants? Is there a lot of access? Are there ATMs? Are there exchanges? Is it easy to buy Dash in Thailand?
It's easy to buy Dash. There's one exchange in Thailand which with high liquidity and the trading pair Thai baht to Dash. But that's what Sascha just mentioned with Winston Pay. That's one thing, right? What we enable now with Winston Pay, and that's what we're really, really happy about, because this is like for us really the biggest missing piece we wanted to figure out. Now we have a system where essentially in the background of that system is like a whole network of providers. So we can now do is essentially give a fixed exchange rate. I mean, one of the issues is that when you send a transaction to these exchanges and they don't have instant send integrated, it's a 15-minute time period to get the 6 confirmations, which is already another volatility risk for the merchant. So if you charge, it depends how much you charge. You charge 100 baht for a beer and 95 baht arrive, that's 5% already, right? So this is hard to handle. And now with Winston Pay, we have an option to really give and we can instant send the money to Winston Pay and get immediately the price. And the merchants know exactly that they get what they charged. And settle in fiat on their bank account like instantly.
Is Uphold workable in the country or not?
No, Uphold is not available here.
No Thai baht.
No, exactly. And Winston Pay is, to make that clear, is not only for Thailand, right? With Winston Pay, we now essentially connect almost all markets step by step, and connecting all these players, which are exchanges, banks, and other payment exchange providers in the background.
Yeah. Another merchant I'd love for you to onboard in Bangkok, because there's shopping malls everywhere, right? They're like the go-to places to hang out. But one thing that I loved, well, maybe, I don't know compared to the States, but in the UK, going to the cinema in the UK is actually quite expensive now. That's actually really expensive, especially popcorn and things. And in Thailand, there's a few options in these big malls. And if you can get a discount, incentivize people to go to the cinema, because as you say, I'm familiar with like certain days, they always do certain discounts, and also for students as well. Don't forget, they have, I used to go to Bangkok International University to study and go to their library and stuff. And I think if you can incentivize the students as well, because student discounts there is huge in Thailand, right?
Yes, we in fact had quite some university meetings. Sascha, maybe you can tell a bit.
Yeah. So I'm actually like speaking on the 3rd of April. So like in 1 week, 10 days, something like that. I'm having 2 speeches at the university at the same day. So and also one other ambassador of us, his name is Gavin. So like he's Thai, and he was also speaking at the university. I was also speaking at the school and stuff like that. So because we believe like that's the, or maybe also back like to the meetups. I mean, when you do usually like crypto meetups, if it's Dash or whatever, you have like the crypto people. So what we actually also did is like really reaching out to other target groups, like university students, like went to schools, went to entrepreneur conferences, like to get different people into our world. So because we believe that's very important.
Exactly, that's a very good point, right? We also realized it's very good for us to hang out at non-crypto events, like just classic payment events, at a supply chain forum where we were speaking. I mean, honestly, we're also very happy because we now get so many invitations on conferences to be speakers. Like that's what we really want. Like we want to give a value proposition there. And what we do now with the conferences as well, and say, you know what, we are Dash. We can help you to promote your conference a little bit. We can even help you to sell tickets in Dash, what we did with the big Beyond Blocks conference here in Bangkok, and help you promote, give a discount on Dash. We help you to sell the tickets. We shoot it all on our social media channels, and in exchange, like give us a keynote speech, put us on the panels, like put us on the posters, so make us a marketing partner. And these are like partnerships we can like really like negotiate without like having this like, hey, you have to pay us 100K for being part of our conference.
Excellent.
How long have y'all been there, and what made y'all move there?
Been where?
To mean to
Thailand.
Just in Bangkok.
Yeah. How long have y'all lived there?
In my case, so I said it, I think, at the beginning. So I moved here like 7 years ago, and
I lived here 10 years ago. Went back to Germany for work and relocated again beginning of last year.
Y'all went there for work-related issues?
Yeah, like, I mean, I as I said, like, I had my own business consultancy back in Germany, and I mean, how to say, like, I needed a new challenge, so I came here and I wanted to, like, start over and like and start a new challenge. And I really like to live in Asia. I mean, like like I see the future here, to be honest. So also, like, regarding payments, I mean, as Felix said before, when you go even to small food stalls, they have like QR codes everywhere. Like, it's really impressive. So when I go back to Germany, I always feel okay. Like I went in a time machine. So it's
I'll give you an example. The classic German use case is you want to have you go with the car, you want to park somewhere. You realize you have to park somewhere, you get a ticket. In order to get a ticket, you have to find a store to get you a Coke in order to get coins to pay the parking machine. And like half an hour later, you can finally park your car. So we really feel like Thailand or Asia really skipped all that card and cash payment process now, right? They just skipped the generation and now went to QR codes already, into mobile NFC-based payments. That's really huge here.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of the way to go, because sometimes just getting people to switch and evolve, it's just like, it's so terrible. And I found that a lot of the merchants with the least infrastructure seem to be the quickest to get cryptocurrency, because they just have like an envelope with a bunch of cash and then that's it. And then you just say, all right, why don't you do this thing on your phone? And then, okay, now they do that too. And like, I remember there being a few local farmers market merchants here in New Hampshire who started accepting cryptocurrencies years before they ever got like a Square card reader to plug into their phone to swipe a card. So yeah, it works. It works in interesting ways.
Yeah, you don't have to invest in anything. I mean, like, just the app on your phone and you can start accepting crypto.
So it all sounds good, right? But what are the biggest challenges and obstacles you've had to overcome? So we spoke about Winstant Pay and being able to give merchants that ability for exchanges. But when you first started, you must have had some challenges. So you're telling me in terms of regulation, you haven't had any issues. You haven't any problems with police or officials or anything like that. You haven't had any legal issues.
The opposite, we invite them to our meetups and we try to start a conversation with them. And the funny thing is, when you start talking to government, you realize it's just people and they're nice. And if you talk to them normally, they will reply to you like nice and polite, and you can figure out stuff, right? So it's, actually, we want to bring ourselves in a position where they ask us, because we being the crypto payment experts. And we, like, the more we go out, the more we are on conferences, the more people see us, like the more you get this image, and it's better to grow the ecosystem. But of course, I mean, the challenge was what Sascha said before, when we went out and like naively think, okay, there's the Bitcoin accepting stores, these must be the stores, and like, bam, that was a bummer, you know. It's like we went to 30, 50 stores and like zero outcome, right? So it was like, okay, what can we do now? And now, then again, we are now at the sales pitch. We switched it many times. We really listen to like a design research kind of approach, where we listen to these people, to the issues, to the questions, and try to give them a way that they don't even have to ask these questions. And then again, the important part is giving them the option. Say, we offer crypto in a way that you don't have to know or feel crypto. And honestly, I mean, like, think about the internet, right? What was the first use case for the internet? Was writing mails. And nobody knows about TCP/IP and all these protocols, right? If it would still like be like that, we wouldn't have Uber and Airbnb. It works because you get mass adoption if you don't feel the technology anymore. That's what we strongly believe.
What about the journey though? Because over time, surely, when you first started speaking to merchants to onboard them, it must have been quite a daunting experience, but at the same time, you didn't have all the resources, the pitch wasn't refined. So surely over time, things have got better. But when you first started out, was it like, oh God, right, we need to get all these things fixed and sorted to be able to do this? I hadn't thought of that. Was there anything that kind of, when you first started thinking, oh my God, yeah, we need to do that. Why don't we think of that? And like, I'm sure right now you've got like a smooth process, you know, whether it's flyers, cutouts, or, you know, a perfect pitch. But like, just because there may be other people watching from around the world that want to be inspired by what you've done and want to do something else. So your journey and how you pitch these merchants could be of great help to them. So your journey of getting to this point would be very helpful for other people. So can you just speak to that for a little bit?
So after we had this bummer with the Bitcoin shops, essentially what we did was figuring out who in our circle of friends owns the restaurant or owns the shop where it could be interesting to have that, right? And if it's friends, they're forgiving. so you can really figure it out and start playing with it. So we installed their first POS system, tried out different POS systems, and I mean, there you really find the challenging parts. And if you figure out that, actually you're ready to go, and you don't have to be shy. Actually, that's the biggest problem, right? I mean, you will fail at the beginning, and if you fail 50 times, it's so painful and makes you depressive. But I mean, don't let yourself down and just try more, and you will find a solution right after a time. And the sales pitch will get better and better.
Do you feel you have do you feel you have the resources and support that you need in order to do your job? If you had a wish list of things that could be provided to you to help things better, not just financial, but I know recently we've got like a BizDev connectory with Core and other community leaders around the world. But in terms of like, if you could have a wish list of things that you think would be of great asset to you or great help and help you improve your performance and fine tune things even further, do you have anything that you would like to see more of in terms of anything to, or maybe just consistency, confluence? I think Ezra from Das Embassy DAC in Germany is often talking about the importance of having materials, and I always believe in like a standardized approach. So we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, we're all saying the same thing, we're consistent. So I don't know, is that of interest to you, and do you agree in the importance of doing that as well?
There's different levels, I mean, of course, Dash should be consistent in a way that when you have a Dash sales pitch, it should look more or less the same around the world. Of course, that's kind of the colors and the logo and all that, right? But we strongly believe that really you have to figure out your own market. You have to figure out the players, and I mean, honestly, the big competition is these big players out there. LinePay, Alipay, it would be like the equivalent to PayPal in the States and in Europe. Apple Pay. And I mean, these are the big players. And the problem with that is that they have a lot of money, right? They have way more money. I mean, we have a lot of money. We create a lot of money, and it's awesome, right? But compared to in the big scale of things, it's not that much, right? So you have to figure out your market, and you have to figure out how you can survive with or next to them and give value propositions to the merchant. And then that always comes back to the point: bring them value, bring them customers, show them that you can create business for them.
Yeah, y'all have got a lot of merchants. What is y'all's strategy for getting actual users and people out to go to those merchants?
I mean, one big part I would say, like, and that is our events. Like when we do events, like we really talk one-on-one to the people, like install them wallets, and like also like like give them a little test dash to play around and stuff like that, and really like giving them the support, also like getting a exchange account and stuff like that. So I mean, before Mark asked already, how easy is it to get Dash? And I mean, that's always something what I say. Like, I mean, we are crypto people, so like for us, okay, it's easy, yeah. But I think for normal people, like even like orientate on an exchange website, like it's not easy, yeah. So, and we're really taking the time, like and like explaining people, like teaching people on events, like how to use all the tools, yeah. And yeah,
and probably you always have to go back and forth, right, between I mean, it's a chicken and egg problem. You need merchants and you need users, right? So if you don't have merchants, and we didn't have merchants, of course, this is what we had to do before. But now that we have them, of course, we always have to change a little bit. Like now we slow down a little bit on the merchant side, and we push a little bit this event side. So there's just like crypto lunches, events, daily like parties. We had like some nice techno parties. There's just many things you can do in order to like give fun to people and make it like a nice experience.
What is the attendance like at these events? What kind of numbers y'all getting?
I mean, it can be, it depends a little bit on the event. Like, I mean, the highest number we had so far was like Friday 1 week ago. Like we had like, that was really like a party. I think like we had 300 or 400 people attending to that nightlife event. I mean, to be honest, like not everyone came only for crypto, but I mean, like Dash was big there. People could pay with Dash, and yeah, and sometimes we have like more like niche educational events where we have only maybe around 20 people. It really depends, yeah. But everything in between, and we try to change around to keep it interesting and target really different groups, and that's very interesting. So it's really like actually every event we have somehow new people coming, and that's really great.
Is there Dash ATMs? Y'all got Dash ATMs there or no? No.
No. I mean, at the moment, like the only way to the question from Mark from earlier, like the only way is at the moment over exchange. And I mean, yeah, it's easy for us, yeah, but like, yeah, we're still waiting for the ATMs. I mean, maybe also like back to the regulations, as we said before, the regulations are very friendly here. They started like 2 royal decrees, like one from the Revenue Department and one from the SEC, March 2018. But I mean, the licensing process takes time. And back then we had a couple of exchanges, and they could keep on running their operations. Yeah? And they all got now licenses, but now also like the broker and dealers coming. And for ATMs, it's not the exchange license, you need a broker and dealer license. And I mean, they take the process very serious, but also progressive. So, and yeah, we're waiting for the ATMs. So,
and also very important is that Thailand is like, again, this tourist hotspot, like always on the top 5, the most visited cities in the world. So it's like the local community, and a very, very big part is people coming in. And we are very happy that, I mean, through Discord channels, if anybody approaches and say, hey, I'm in Bangkok, like we're so happy to take you out and show you around and have a Dash dinner together. And that happens quite a lot. We're actually impressed, blown away how many times that happened already.
Are there other Bitcoin ATMs or any crypto ATMs at all?
Okay. Or? There's one far away. It's like a little, it was very dirty when we were there last time.
I think it was not working anymore. Yeah.
And I think they had a 10% premium, a 10% premium on the average price.
Well, this is a golden opportunity then. I don't think ATMs are the ultimate solution, but they do help with the onboarding process, right? And they do help increase accessibility. So why don't you marry the two together? So there are a lot of campuses in Bangkok, right? In terms of universities. Yeah. And we've already spoke about targeting students and the discounts targeted at students. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a Dash ATM at each campus for students and then tying the discounts to the students as well? So when they're at the university campus, they can get their discount. There could be flyers on the side with a little leaflet saying where they can spend it all with their discount. Bish, bash, bosh, Bob's your uncle. Everyone's happy. Everyone's a winner. And if you wanted to be really cheeky, you could kind of get a kickback on it because you could offer different cryptocurrencies, up the fees on those ones, have no fees on Dash. So anyone buying Bitcoin or Litecoin, you profit from, and you put that back into the system. So like, you know, that's just an idea. I think General Bytes ATMs start from about like $3,000. I don't know if it supports the Thai baht though, but I mean, this is just an idea, but that would really help build the ecosystem, incentivize students as well, because they always want to do the cool hip thing. And especially if they're spending the majority of their time on campus, they're seeing the ATM and then they're seeing, I can get 10% discount at the cinema, you know, at the shopping mall and the food court, all this sort of stuff. Even the food court in the universities, that's a really big thing in Thailand. You've got a lot of opportunities here. And I know I'm going off the top of my head, but I'm just having flashbacks to Thailand and I'm just seeing you've got so much opportunity. Yeah, I think it'll be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we are as excited as you are, of course, and we would love that. And I mean, in an ideal world, we would have that much money that we just buy that stuff, get the license, and do it ourselves, right? The reality is it's not like that, and that's why we talk to a lot of partners. We are in talks with ATMs, with banks, with exchanges, in order to make it all easier, right? And then it again comes back to the Winston pair. That's now a solution where we really can have the most easy on and off ramping from Dash, and from Dash to Thai baht, and probably like then in the long run to many other currencies. I mean, one other thing is, right, we're not only, like, the more we grow, the smaller the t-shirts get, not only because the food is so good on Dash, but also because more international players approach us, right? So now we have already good connections to Singapore, to Korea, to Vietnam, to various other markets in Asia. And actually, we really feel like I mean, you will not refuse these deals if somebody approaches you. You will try to make it happen.
Yeah.
Well,
and like, especially with the ATMs, like I love hardware. Like I really would like to see that ATMs. But as I said, like, I mean, we had them showcased already in Bangkok, but like, and the people, like our partners, they have it in place, and Dash would be integrated there. Like that's not a question. But they're waiting for the licenses. I mean, that's a process which unfortunately takes time. It's not the missing partnerships. It's not anything else. It's really just the licenses. So and I'm pretty sure, like, if any one of that players get his license, then like that will be really like a next step on the consumer activation side.
And on the way, we're really trying to start these talks already, right? Because we know the license process is going to take a while. So now we're putting ourselves in a position where we approach them proactively already and say, you know what, there is a value proposition. And the thing with Dash, and that has to be said as well, is like the instant send feature is just awesome, right? Because you can do things instantly compared to other cryptocurrencies. And that's why we really convinced them to do these deals and to look into the integration part and to talk to the tech teams, talk to the business side of things.
Yeah, so I was just checking on Dash Central, and y'all's proposal is a little bit behind there. Do y'all have some kind of contingency plans if it doesn't pass this month, or any places to cut back, or?
Yeah, we still hope on the last minute vote. So I mean, we asked ourselves as well a little bit, like, why? Because I mean, like, like the comments are okay. I'm not sure if you looked into the comments. So that's why we actually hope that the people who support us, like, still vote at the end somehow. So yeah, I mean, if we would, if we wouldn't get enough votes, because I mean, it's a tight treasury this month as well. A lot of proposals out, and I mean, everyone doing a really good work. So I mean, maybe like sometimes also a little bit difficult to get the message out. Not everyone is reading it. It's a lot of information also for the master nodes to really decide on what is good. So I mean, we will doing our thing, like we will try our best, and hope we get voted. I mean, for sure, like, if we don't have funds, so we have to reduce on some ends. We don't know how we do it. So far we are still motivated that people see our work. And I mean, like as Joel said as well, like at the moment it's over AnyPay, like we are on number 2 with Dash transactions. So I mean, that's just one fact, and we hope that really people see that fact. I mean, that's not our statistic. It's not that we say, hey, we are number 2. It's an AnyPay statistic. And I mean, when I understand the community right, that's actually what we want. So that's why I hope we get the votes at the end.
Yeah. How many people's on the team total?
At the moment, like, we are 6 people. Yeah. And like 6 main people, to say that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're in an interesting period where there's a lot going on in the governance system. People are still kind of split between Dash Central and Dash Nexus. And then there's a trust protector election going on. And then at the end of the month, after this cycle, they're going to flip the spork and then reset the votes. And there's just like a bunch of stuff that people are just, they don't know what they're doing. And of course, it's coming up on spring. And I don't know, some people go places for spring. Woo! And just all that combined with the ecosystem has grown. The thing is, Dash has grown so fast during a time when the price and therefore the ability of the treasury has grown so slow, or reverse grown, whatever that term is. So even though it's been doing better last month or so, last 3 months maybe, it's still like everyone wants to, like, let's get everything going. Let's get adopted everywhere. There's groups all over the place. There's there's people running around Nigeria. There's people in Venezuela. There's people in Colombia. There's people in Thailand. There's people up here in New Hampshire. There's people, more places than I can count. Still, just kind of like waiting around, and it's like, I think that at some point it gets hard to even if you're going to throw 5 Dash at everyone, like 5 Dash at each project, you'd run out really quickly because it's just everywhere. It's so I really hope you guys keep working to the best of your abilities and don't take it like a personal thing. Some people do, by the way. Some people, when there's like tight funding or whatever, they just say, oh, I just guess I don't like me. It's like, no, but you're doing great. You just, everyone, there's, you know, and things have happened before where I've seen some proposals that some people got really upset that didn't get passed and they didn't vote that time. They were like, oh, this one didn't get in. Oh, it's like, well, didn't you vote for it? No, I was, you know, I forgot I was out of town. So,
I mean, from our perspective, we want to be convincing, and we hope we did that job to all of you community that to see what we do. And I think you have to grow. You have to grow constantly, and some especially the big deals, they take time, right? You will never make a big deal with a corporation, with one of the big exchanges within 3 months. But I mean, the results show that we brought these deals already in place. MRUs are signed. We started integrating instant send, but of course, at the end of the day, everybody has to fill their bridges, and that's why we can only hope for the best of motivation for everybody. And I think Thailand is especially a strategically highly important market. It's awesome to focus on the States, on Latin America. We agree 100%, but we also believe like Asia is a very important market. And then coming back to what we discussed before with the payment system, so here's a really big chance to go into that new kind of payment systems, highly mobile, highly NFC focused, where Dash can bring like very, very big value to these markets.
Yeah, there's probably going to be, again, proposals that pass, but there's not going to be the funding for them. There's just so many good proposals. So, yeah.
Well, on a positive note, let's flip the script a little bit. If funding wasn't an issue and things just stay as they are now, don't get too overexcited. What's your mission objective? Do you have any targets, or do you just go month by month? Do you have like I see you got a whiteboard in the background. Do you have like a mission goals saying like by the end of 2019, we're going to achieve this, this, and this? Do you have anything like that?
These things are in place. One, of course, is the Winston Pay thing we just talked about. The other thing is we're just in talks with a Korean partner to get us on 200,000 debit cards by end of this year and 2 million in 2020. That's the goal. We're in talks, so we have appointments next week with some POS providers. So we hope we get like the 10,000 merchants this year, or a couple of thousand merchants by this year. And again, like we need the time to build our use case and now approach these big players and go into these in talks with bigger corporations.
I mean, it sounds maybe now a little bit like, how they come from 70 merchants to 10,000 merchants. But it's also the question with the strategies. I mean, like we have always two levels on strategies. Like one is the long-term perspective, the plan. But sure, like we adjust every month because, there's a big learning. We are in a still very new industry. So, and there are not much experience we can count on. So like we have every month's learning, and we adjust our strategy every month slightly, but we have a long-term plan. And I was talking about it before already. I mean, we started with education, then the small ecosystem, and now we get the partnerships in place. And with that partnerships, because there's on one side is the door-to-door approach, but you cannot do that forever. You cannot speak to a merchant, you want to accept Dash, okay, then you have another one, tick, and speak to the next one. It takes a long time. So now we're getting the things in place where we can talk to the big players, where you have like with one deal, like maybe 10,000 merchants or 5 or 20, or it depends. Yeah.
And this would also be, again, like a moment to switch strategy again, saying now we need user activation because now we have 10,000 merchants.
Yeah, so now we spend a Dash there.
Let's push users, right? And one thing also we want to mention is some like these conference deals we made. We just made, and that was announced already, a cooperation with Block Live Asia, where I'm going to speak. It's still to be figured out, with Roger Ware on the stage on cryptocurrency mass adoption. So I mean, there's many things where we're really happy. And this conference is in Singapore, right? So this is again like now we already go out of Thailand and already like being invited at these conferences, and we made with them also a nice partnership deal where Dash is the headline sponsor. We get like a message out every day with Dash. We're in the crypto showcase. And again, like I got a keynote speech and a panel discussion with Roger Ware there.
I've got a bit of a controversial question.
Oh, Jesus.
Hang on. Hold on. Keep your hair
Hold on to your butts.
No, just keeping it real though. Is prostitution legal there, or how does that work?
Brian, God. Well, they can answer that about Germany first, because not in the UK, but in many European countries, prostitution is seen as legal with certain restrictions and things. But
the funny thing is, in Germany it's legal, in Thailand it's illegal.
Yeah.
Let's say like this, but not only in Thailand, many other countries too. Like, I mean, there's the legal side, the law, and things which are, like people like to look away. Let's say like this. Yeah, I know it's always like when you hear Thailand, like many people have that in mind. But I mean, Mark, you've been living here, like
Bangkok's like any other city. It's metropolitan. It's a real mix. I mean, I used to love going to Chinatown, but now there's just like shopping malls and condo buildings. It's becoming very modernized, right? They're really putting a lot of investment in there right now. So, and as you said earlier, there's lots of Chinese like coming. I mean, they've always been. I mean, like now they're coming in, bringing in the big money, right? So.
That's also a very, very interesting point, right? If you focus on like who's actually the crypto users, and that's something which is totally overseen often in the US and in Europe. It's like there's not only one internet, because there's the Chinese internet, there's the Japanese internet, which like we don't understand it, right? But for a fact, there's so many crypto users there. China is crazy in crypto usage. Korea is crazy in crypto usage. And now the biggest group of tourists coming to Thailand are Chinese people, right? So it's highly important for us to give them also value proposition and to enable them to use Dash and to teach them as well.
Didn't they recently?
One last thing, there's the remittances market, right? So we used to joke about that because like there's always a boyfriend using one of these services and pay like high fees to get money to their girlfriend. So
wow.
I mean, it's a beautiful use case.
No, Sascha, I won't sponsor you.
No, you promised me.
Didn't they recently legalize cannabis there? Is that right, in Thailand?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's good.
Winston Pay message, by the way, already made it to the US with the Dash and marijuana payments. Yeah. They already some guys are already looking into that because they saw the news. They just heard that.
I didn't know this. So this is just a recent thing. It's now cannabis is now legal in Thailand.
It's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the announcement was like on the New Year's Day. Yeah, medical marijuana, but it's a little bit the same like with the crypto regulations. You know, they allow it. Yeah, but then the licenses. So then people apply for the licenses, and that's when the process is starting. Yeah. So, and I mean, with cryptos, everything is clear. I mean, like we have operating exchanges. We can do our thing. Like it's totally legal to accept crypto compared to many other countries where it's not legal. Yeah. That's not a problem. But with the medical marijuana, I mean, no one is really operating yet. So there's many things to be figured out. But like we see, obviously, the opportunities. So that's the next step. I mean, Thailand in general, or Asia in general, let's say like this, like they're going pretty advanced, pretty progressive on many things. Are pretty forward thinking. So yeah, I mean. So that's where we are very happy, and I think it's very important that Dash is represented somehow in Asia. And as Felix said before, I mean, sure, we are based in Bangkok, and actually I remember that our first idea was actually doing like something like Dash Asia. But when we put our pre-proposal online, the feedback was not so good, and people said, "Oh, start better in one country first." Yeah, but we're reaching out now already. As Felix said, he's speaking on a conference in Singapore. He was speaking last year in Korea.
Partners in Korea.
We have partners like in Asia, and actually also beyond Asia even, because I mean, as Joel also before said, like there are now like a couple of countries where Dash is very active, but I mean, it's just in countries. I mean, like, and we are a decentralized organization, are we? So, and there's advantages, but also disadvantages. So, there have to be like one Dash nation somehow, like later, where we combine our efforts, like, and our synergies, like, and yeah, so we don't stop at the Thailand borders with our work.
Also, one good point, like now I mean, we're very in regular and kind of intensive talks with Dash teams around the world, and especially to share this experience. But we feel like there was a little bit of a gap in communication with these teams, because I mean, everybody has so much experience and we can essentially learn so much from each other. You mentioned that the documents going around, right? It's just, the problem is not that we should all use the same document. The problem is rather like, how can you make every team aware that these documents exist in our country? What's happening right now is that everybody is creating their own documents because we just don't know each other, right? So it's like when we started, now it's not coming from us, but it's like together with all these people, we figured out, hey, we should have regular team calls and like exchange way more than we did before. And what you said before, we cannot grow everywhere, but the more we grow, the more that gets really, really essential. And decentralized organizations, I mean, that you can learn from the corporate world. It's very good to have some kind of references and team calls and to exchange experiences.
Yeah, tourism. Tourism is big there. How many people speak English in Thailand?
Oh, actually, yeah, usually people speak very good English here. So like, yeah, it's actually not a problem. So because I mean, like tourism since the 1960s. Yeah. So, and it's 20% of the economy or something like that. Like 25%. It's tourism. So I mean, it's very important for Thai people to learn English to find a job, like to do all that things. So and I mean, but we anyway, like as we said before, we are 6 people, and like when we do events, usually at least educational events, we do them bilingual, because like you have both here. You have a really huge expat scene, yeah, expatriates who are living and working here. Like you have the tourists, but you have also like the locals who maybe want to hear it in their own language. So we really try to cover all groups.
Yeah, I mean everything is translated as well.
And yeah, everything is in Thai.
And really, like we do it bilingual. Like really, like I say something, and the Thai ambassador says something.
One thing you must do is maintain relations with universities. I know I've been talking about a lot of them before, but what a lot of people what people may not realize is that when I was there, more than 80% went on to going to university studies, which is a lot more than Europe and the UK and elsewhere in the world. And this was still relatively a fairly new thing. So all these students going to university now have this new, bigger expectations of doing, getting better quality jobs. They're really embracing the digital age, entrepreneurship, startups, development. When I was in Thailand, I was studying, but I was doing Cisco networking as well, and they were trying to get up to speed, right? So the reason why I say this, maintain your relations with the universities, because at some point this year, we will have Dash Evolution and dApps as well. And I can see once the libraries are open source and we have more information, it would be great to get Dash Core developers to come and speak and encourage up and coming developers at that university, because they're going to be incentivized. And I won't speak for the US, but I'll speak for the UK. The hunger for knowledge in Bangkok surprised me in itself, let alone Thailand. You'll go to McDonald's and you'll see students, and they'll be in McDonald's and they'll just be working, just all doing their homework. They love to, study, and that, they're doers, right? And their work ethic when it comes to studying, I don't know if it's just that Asian mentality, but they absolutely love it. So I think that will be a prime opportunity, because they like to create solutions. So dApps in general, and considering cryptocurrency scene is known there, but development style, you mentioned Chiang Mai and an Ethereum expat community. Well, let's incentivize the local community, the up and coming university, embrace the young, create an ecosystem with the students, with the discounts, and let's just have a fully rounded ecosystem.
Yeah, agree 100%. And I mean, one thing is also, we already find out we're doing that. We talk to many university students, and for us, it's really beautiful that those are the people we don't have to explain cryptocurrencies from scratch, right? They know already what we're talking about. They might not know everything about Dash. And another thing, and that's, I mean, we invite the community to let's do a hackathon here, right? Bangkok is beautiful. It's a kind of a cheap place to organize huge conferences. And I mean, we very much come from this world where we know how big events have to be done, and get a good price for that stuff, right? So I would be more than happy to host the first big hackathon after Evolution release.
Oh yeah, wonderful! Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
Wow. And maybe a future event for a Dash conference.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. and that two things what you said, Mark and Felix. Like, I mean, I'm as I said before, like in 10 days I speak at 2 universities. So like we are in there already, and I was speaking even at the school, and that was a kind of mind blowing. Yeah, I mean, like the 16-year-olds, yeah, they could explain me the blockchain somehow, cryptocurrency. So. And I mean, I went out from that speech at the school, and I was like super motivated, you know, like, because sometimes you have some doubts, you know, like where it's gonna go. But after that, I was like so sure. I mean, like if 16-year-olds can know about cryptocurrencies, can explain like somehow as the blockchain works, then okay, nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, and they want the best of the best as well.
Eye-opening.
Yeah, because I think sometimes people, it's easy to stereotype. I mean, I'm talking to Germans right now, so okay, but I imagine you got your to-do list afterwards because you guys love making lists. But I mean, in general, when it comes, but when it comes to like universities and stuff, people think, oh, they might have some some ideas of what they think their Thai education system's like. Well, in the universities, most of the lecturers are international, like they're expats coming in, so they're trying to get the best of the best to give lectures. That's why I think they've got such a big work ethic, and they really appreciate that. And I think that speaks volumes about the expat community in Thailand itself. Obviously, I'm very pro Dash. If my circumstances were different, I'll be back over there. If Dash goes to the moon, I'm definitely going to buy a condo or something. But is there anything we haven't highlighted that you think we might have missed out on, or anything in your operations? We spoke about conferences, meetups, business development, merchants you've on board.
What about barriers? So first off, have you had any negative reactions just from people being like, oh, isn't that scam thing? Or because of the timing of it, oh, isn't that I heard that I knew a guy who bought some and now he's ruined because it all went down. Like, do you have any of that kind of stuff you've had to deal with?
We had, and that's why we go out now and say, you know what, it's a payment solution, and you can choose. Do you want to keep the Dash, or do you want to have Thai baht? And I mean, let's be honest, right? It's a matter of cash flow management for any local business. And if you really need the cash, then I would feel bad if I recommend them to go to a high volatile asset, right? It's not the right choice if you need the cash flow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, sure, there are a lot of rumors, especially like here. I had a feeling at the beginning we had to do a lot of education. Felix mentioned it before already, Dash Coin. I mean, there was some scam around like called Dash Coin. And I mean, like, yeah, it sounds similar. So you cannot even be angry about the people like that. There's easy to do misunderstanding. So we had to do a lot of education. And I mean, so like in Thailand, it's also a culture where people like to make a quick buck, like multi-level marketing and Ponzi schemes been big in the past. So I mean that's also a reason why like now the SEC like take a lot of time with the licenses, because they don't want to do anything wrong. Like and I mean we agree with that process. They're on one side very progressive, but on the other side very careful to have a good reputation on cryptocurrencies. And there's maybe one point I really want to get, really wanted to mention, like in that podcast, because we got some messages and stuff, because like there's one news and one article always going around with the 7 currencies allowed in Thailand. I'm not sure if you guys heard about that. Yeah. And I mean, that's like a really huge misunderstanding, like, because Dash is not on that list. Yeah, that doesn't mean Dash is not legal here or anything. I mean, that list going around is just for ICO trading pairs. Yeah, and I mean the SEC, they have some measurements where they say, okay, like we allowed that 7 currencies for trading pairs for ICOs. So that's the only difference. We are not on that list for like private cent is one reason. So, but I mean, we have it. So, and I mean, that doesn't influence our work here at all. Like we had even meetings with the SEC, like we are friends with the SEC members on social media. I mean, like that's really like a friendly relationship, and we are very outgoing. They come even sometimes to our meetups and like. So that's one thing I really wanted to get. I wanted to say in the podcast because like.
And it's really important to understand that what they care for is really investor protection. And I mean, there was really like the fun fact, there was a coin called, but like this is Dash coin, and we promise you a Mercedes if you buy their coin. So it's like, oh my god, they really stole the logo from Dash and put it on the flyer. Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, so it's like, oh, what's happening?
It's bad.
It's very important to have to talk to the SECs, and I totally get their perspective on investor protection. That this is their main mission. But I mean, let's be honest, ICOs are kind of a dead cat at this point. And I mean, Dash is not really interested in ICOs. We're not interested that people get some whatever coins with Dash. What we are interested is getting Dash into the real world and into payment.
Yeah, I can imagine. Have you had any issues with their Dash specific, not like crypto? So for example, here in New Hampshire, it's always been a very Bitcoin heavy, like basically this is like the hotbed of early Bitcoin use in the world, right? Like Roger Ver was on the was donating to the radio show in Keene, New Hampshire. That's how he heard about Bitcoin, it was from out of here. It's so we have had once in a while, not anymore. It's been probably a year or so since we've had issues. But in the beginning, when Dash started to take off, when Bitcoin stopped working quite as well, we had some people that were like, "Oh, that's just a scam. It's terrible." Well, from like other cryptocurrency people saying, "Oh, I heard that one's bad and not as good. This one's better," and that seems to have died off here. But have you guys had any of that kind of thing, or something to the effect of, "Well, but why don't I use Bitcoin because it's like up at the on the list?" And Dash is like, "But 15 or whatever it is at the time." You have any of that?
I would rather say the opposite. What we do right now is going out and say, you know what, we are top 15 coin. Like, you should work with us. And that works kind of good. And people are quite understanding that Bitcoin is not something you can really pay with because it just takes too long. And we just have the better value.
And the fees too. Last I saw was like 50 cents for a Bitcoin transaction.
Now, has the Lightning Network been getting any kind of traction over locally?
What do you mean?
Great answer. I know. I'm going to take that.
I don't know what I don't know.
Probably don't want to go there.
Yeah, because like the Bitcoin Lightning Network.
It's really, I mean, like as we said before, there are other coins around. There are other communities around, but regarding payment or anything, like, I mean, we tested it. There's zero. Maybe there came one up and we don't know about, but towards payment, there's only Dash really, like in there's no competition with Bitcoin or anything like that. Any bar or restaurant accepted, not in my knowledge. I think in Phuket, I think like outside of Bangkok, I heard from once, but yeah, I mean it's uncompared. So.
Also, that's maybe one part what we like in terms of 2019. Also, like because we said we focused on the tourism industry. I mean, of course, we started off in Bangkok. That's the first use case we had to build. And from there, we would, of course, love to expand also to give tourists coming here like a nice experience. They can travel around with so many beautiful islands. And of course, we want hotels there, we want bars there. So this would be also something we would like to go as soon as possible.
How long have y'all been doing the proposals? What month are y'all on now?
It's the 6 months now.
6 months.
Oh, wow.
We had two times 3 months proposals. And yeah, that. The one online you mentioned before, like, would be the third proposal. But actually, we did the first couple of months, like we start working here without any proposal. So like we started without any funding and did everything out of our own pocket. Did events like and go out because like we first wanted to test it. How is it even, like, is it worth to get funded? Like how is the market here? And like the feedback was really amazing. So that was actually like the motivation then to really put a proposal online.
So you're getting close to your Dash anniversary, huh?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
coming up.
Come here to celebrate.
Yeah, I really like Mark's idea about the universities and the ATM because I think the users is the next evolution in y'all's game plan there. I would think with y'all got a lot of merchants. I heard one guy like eats 90% of everything with Dash he's able to eat off of. So that's good.
Yeah. I agree. I want to come out and visit you guys. If I can get time off from Dash Force, or maybe I can go out there at some point this year, I'd love to.
Don't count on it.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen, is it? Wait 2 years now, Brian. 2 years.
We can offer you the co-working space here. You can work and sleep and pay in Dash this co-working space. So you don't even have to take holiday, Mark.
I can believe that as well.
The podcast at 2 a.m. at night. I mean, like it's perfect. You know, like you have the whole day for working, and then at 2 a.m. you do the podcast.
I know that's the problem, and that's
inside of your usual hours anyway. Although, is there any reliable place to purchase frozen pizzas for Dash over there?
Frozen pizzas not, but like you can get homemade pizzas, like and yeah. So
I don't know, Mark. Does that cut it for you?
Yeah, I tell you what, I miss Thai food so much as well. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I want to go back, and I want to catch up with some old friends and stuff as well. So it's been a long time. But guys, Brian, is it that time?
We should probably wrap it up. Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. I didn't want to take it away from Brian, so I had to.
We missed that. We got so long. Recent podcast when Brian wasn't there because he wasn't able to say that crucial line that gives us permission.
Exactly. Don't trust, verify. Ask Brian. He's working on blockchain time. UTC. He knows what it's about. It's that time. So yeah. Speaking of time zones and stuff, Sascha, Felix, thank you for joining us in the early hours of the morning and for coming on the podcast. We are grateful, and I hope the community found this to be useful. So thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting.
It was a pleasure to be here with you. I hope we could tell you a good story, and I hope we were convincing for you all, guys.
Excellent. And before I throw over the outro to Joel, where can people go to find you to find out more? What's your social media? What's your website? Where can they go to learn more about your operations?
I mean, website -thailand.org. Like we are very active on Facebook because like it's very big here. Like I know, I think in US and Europe, like it's going a little bit down on that side. So, but here it's still very big. Telegram, like yeah, actually we are everywhere. Dash Thailand or Dash Embassy Thailand. So you can find us on all social media actually. So and but we're also using the Dash forum like for our updates and activities. So yeah, I mean that's a very good overview actually. Also what the Dash forum.
And you're available on Discord as well, correct?
For sure, yeah. I mean, like we have channels, like one Thai channel and one Thailand channel on Discord. So yeah,
Sascha Bangkok and Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, speaking of Discord, I know a man that would like to say a few words about it.
Oh yeah, stay away from it. It's a scam. No, just kidding. So as much as this should be enough video content for anyone for the whole week, if you want to actually participate in something like this, we do something called the after party, which is just like this, 10 people at a time. We all join, we talk until the sun comes up, Mark's time usually. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that gets worked out there. A lot of people have started their proposals from conversations in there. A lot of people have absolutely lost it at Mark before and vice versa. There's just a lot of fun stuff that happens there, and you want to get there. So first you have to go to the Dash Talk Discord, which is staydashy.com. Still like that URL. And then you just start asking around for, hey, where's the after party? And then one of us should plug you in. And then there you go. That's a fantastic thing. And of course, if you like this right here, like, share, comment, subscribe, smash for Dash, as Mark likes to say. And yeah, we actually do read the comments. Sometimes there's a bunch, sometimes there's a few. Thank you for not recently commenting too much on Brian or I's personal appearances or habits or things like that. Or like, wow, why is he always doing that thing? So thank you very much, but please keep commenting otherwise.
Excellent. Thank you, Joel. So that was staydashy.com, Dashy with a Y. I've added the address in the live chat if you're watching this on YouTube. And thank you if you're listening to this as well. If you would like to listen to this in audio after you watch this on YouTube, tomorrow on dashnews.org, I'll be reposting this video with links to iTunes, TuneIn, Player FM, all sorts, all kinds of goodies. So that was episode 96 of the Dash News podcast. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic weekend wherever you are. as Joel said, if you've found this to be informative, please press that like button, smash for Dash, and don't forget to share and subscribe. So, with that being said, stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy. Stay dashy, everyone. Have a good weekend. Cheerio.